Few quick questions as we always do to kickstart this thing off. First one from Caitlin. There's some good ones in here. I like reading what people send through, and straight away your mind goes to what you might talk about. But
particularly because we don't rehearse, like we just put them at the start of this show for Q&A, and we answer it. So you're getting our live reactions, organic reactions.
Obviously, you still read it, but yes, you do. First one from Caitlin. What do you do when you have creative block? And I think this is a great question because regardless of what creative industry or content you're into, you're always going to have moments where you're just like, I'm not motivated, I can't do anything, and that a lot of it comes from comparison. But what do you do? What's your number one?
Well, we did talk about this episode 2 or something. I think I touched on it, but whatever I can to get away from work is my answer. So if I notice I'm struggling with creative block, nothing's happening in terms of my energy or creativity, go for a walk, get away from the screen, turn my mind off work mode. Even if you are busy, it's very hard to do. But if what you need to do in that moment is to create an idea or get those juices flowing, you need to get out of the house. I always joked about
get away from it.
Get away from it. I always joked about having a shower that helps you clear. Like,
true.
Because that's the same thing, right? Like
your
thought, back to the shower.
My 5th shower because I just can't think of ideas.
No, but seriously, it comes when you're least expecting it. So that's what I do. What do you do?
No, I think that's got to be number one, and I think it's really funny. I like still to this day I find it really funny when you're like, if you're stuck in that mode of like, I used to relate it back to when I did a fair few designs, like graphic design. Like if you just can't, whatever you put on that paper, on that Photoshop file, if you just can't get anything you like, you just get so frustrated and you're like, I've wasted so much time here, and then you're in your head. But the amazing art of just waiting a day, like the next morning you come to that page and you look at it, you're like, either it's pretty good where you're at, or you just straight away think of something that's better.
Yeah.
So the art of just leaving
it's
it.
Annoying,
even if it's
isn't
it? It is hard with deadlines. It is hard, but wait a day, get away from the screen. I think that's yeah.
It's sort of funny and annoying because you're right. Like you'll switch off, you haven't got it done, and then at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, you'll be like, bang.
Yeah,
because you can't flick on the creative idea. You'll just be like having dinner or whatever. You're like, I've got it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back to work.
You just get so stuck in that spiral of thinking about it. But it's a good question because I'm sure everyone actually, if you have a good method as well of what you guys do, because I'm always curious. People might be the opposite. They're like, no, I
keep
focus
working,
more.
Scroll Instagram.
Yeah,
For us though, it's stop working. It's get away from what you're doing and find a way to clear your head.
Next one, Quinny boy.
Queen hit us with a fair few, so let's rattle them off almost rapid fire. But how do I get into sports photography?
It's broad.
Take photos. No, I think you've probably gotten this question a bit because you work at the NBL. It's a sexy job, right? Like people.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's sexy. Yeah,
it is though. Like you work in.
You're sexy. Yeah, so. People do put you on they're like, oh, that's a established league in a way. But
I think you would have gotten the question, how do I make this my job? I've been asked a few times. There is no magic answer when it comes to getting into particularly something like sport. People often, and I like this advice, like find a local club, start building your portfolio that way, because the moment you have the conversation with the right person to get that job in a sporting club, they're going to want to see examples. So go do some stuff for free. Unfortunately and fortunately, sport, it pays to do things for free to build your portfolio. So I would recommend doing that at the start, build a bit of a portfolio. And when you do have that conversation with X person from the Carlton Football Club, like my sort of journey, you've got examples.
I think that's the number one showcase. Just showcase your work.
Yeah.
Be your biggest cheerleader. That's all you can do. Like otherwise, like knock down doors. That's all you can do.
Knock on doors and be a normal, kind person, because that goes a long way.
It actually does. And all
with everything, not just sports photography. But
no, true. All it takes is the right person to notice.
Yep. Good point.
Well, you said it first. I'm just going off the back of it.
Good point, Michael. DaVinci or so DaVinci or Premiere? I have a Mac, but I don't want
DaVinci
Final
Resolve,
Cut.
Adobe Premiere for full name basis.
I can't help, or both of us can't help a lot with this because we're Premiere through and through.
You know, I had a stage of learning DaVinci.
I'd never know that. Wow. I mean, you learn something
Zoom
about
up on that
best
shocked face.
man, brother.
You want to be my videographer?
Maybe I'm not that close to you. Really? When?
It was just like, you know, when you...
Like a week ago or something?
No, you just scroll on my wedding week. Been busy. No, there was a time...
Darren, you're going to help?
There's a time that on YouTube it was very big of like, you know those titles that like clickbaity almost. It was like, I'm moving away from Premiere, I'm doing it. DaVinci Resolve. And I was like, why are people going to DaVinci? But I only wanted to try it because I heard the color grading was super like good. But I did it for like a week, as in I was just trying to learn it. But the daunting nature of jumping into a program where you just don't know what's going on eventually just put me back to Premiere, because at that stage I didn't color grade that much as well, so I didn't want to learn another program to edit when Premiere is just so.
I think you're so comfortable in it too. Like, it is daunting to say I'm going to change my whole. You're so used to, you open Premiere and you're just in your natural flow because you know where everything is. To learn a whole new program, I'm sure it's worth it, but unless you really want to, I guess, level up your color grading.
Yeah, color grading. Ask yourself why as well. Like, you're just doing it because it's the fad.
Is that, I like it. Is that the saying? But it sounds right.
I think so.
Yeah, it's such a good point. Like, are you doing it because you want to do it, or are you just doing it because it's better and everyone else is doing it?
You saw someone else cool doing it. But moving on to the next one, I don't know. I think just try both. If you're literally starting from scratch, just try both. Look at reviews. That's the time you can look at reviews.
I disagree. Try Premiere. I think DaVinci would be harder to learn from scratch from what I've seen. What I've heard.
Yeah, no, true. Premiere is great.
Don't listen to Darren.
Do I really need to pay for Lightroom? I would say
yes.
Are you a photographer? Yes. Pay for the whole damn Adobe suite, because that makes your life very easy. I don't know what free. Do you remember the program GIMP?
Yeah, I think
it's
I do.
Like a free Photoshop.
I think
it's
paying,
a lot, but
paying for something is actually like a secret. It's almost like a secret to putting validation to yourself. Does that make sense? Like, paying for a program is committing to yourself that you are going to do something properly. So if you are if you're hesitant about paying for a subscription, for example, or use this for example, you're a photographer, you take photos, but you don't really know editing. You're trying to find a cheap version of Lightroom that's free, or a free version of Lightroom. By paying for it, you're committing to yourself that you're taking it seriously, and you're already sort of mentally telling yourself, well, I'm going to be a photographer who makes my edits far better than I would on a free program.
I've thought about this mindset a bit, like, relate it back to the gym. If you buy a gym membership, then you're making yourself be like, well, I'm wasting money if I don't go, so I'm going to go. Like, it's a kind of way of the same with content. If you buy the Adobe suite, you're bound to use it more, because you're gonna, like, in my mind, you are.
Well, let's use our amount of cash. So we've outsourced video editing for this show that you're watching right now, and not only are we loving it, but it motivates us to do it each week or fortnight.
Motivation and enjoyment,
because you're paying for it.
Literally,
it makes sense. Next one, Canon or Sony?
Just go Sony. None of us have ever used Canons before.
Good, quick fire. It's true. We've never used it. Go Sony.
That's all I got. What's the best time to start right now? When's the best time to start?
When's the best time to start?
That's what Michael said before. If you're starting and you're already really good, that you probably waited a bit long, right? Maybe not in all cases, but in saying that, I think too often people are like, hey, I'm going to wait for the perfect time to start my journey on something. But
how about this? Sorry, finish that point.
No, just start.
Just start. If you're asking yourself that question, it's probably already too late. Boom.
Okay.
But true.
That probably felt a lot cooler in your head than it was.
I reckon that's gonna come out a treat.
No, true. It might put some sound. I don't know, put effects or something.